Good evening. It's Melanie Moore here, and welcome to Big Vision TV. Today, we're going to be talking about Feng Shui. It's a fascinating topic, something that I know a little bit about, something that I've dabbled in a little bit, for many years, but I've never really gone in depth on it. And I've never really spoken to a Feng Shui expert about it either. So that's why I'm so excited about tonight's show. So Big Vision TV is all about introducing you to people from around the world, people who inspire me, people who've got amazing stories, people who are realizing their big vision, but also people who have tools and gifts that can kind of help you move towards your big vision. Now, as always, Big Vision TV is sponsored by, I'm really sorry, I'm a bit croaky, I've got a cold, sponsored by my online course, Create the Dream. So you can find out all the details from that at melaniebundock.net/create the dream. Now, I really apologise for confusing you all. Who is she? She Melanie Moore, she Melanie Bundock. I'm in transition at the moment. So I am Melanie Moore now, but not every aspect of my business is caught up with me just yet. So hence the name. So you can find out all about my course, Create the Dream, at melaniebundock.net/create the dream, where I can give you my tools and tips to help you clear the path from where you are now to where you want to be. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on tonight's guest, Patricia Lohan. So I'm going to let Patricia introduce herself. Let's bring her on.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining me tonight.
Thank you so much for this invitation. I'm delighted. And I feel like this is just like the perfect synergy because I am a Feng Shui expert. I work with women all over the world to help make their homes magnetic to their dreams, which feels like very aligned, but magnetic to their dreams through making their homes magnetic. Because there's one thing we all have in common is a house. And are lucky enough to have like roofs over our heads, and those spaces, our environments, are either attracting what we want or repelling what we want. So I'm super excited to dive deeper into this and share it with your people, and hopefully give them some inspiration and some action steps to really enhance their environment, so that they're able to attract. So you're able to attract in whatever it is that you want in your life.
Oh, that's amazing. Now, I know some basics of Feng Shui, and I often talk about things like telling my clients to clear the clutter to make the space for abundance. So I feel like that's kind of like that's basic Feng Shui, isn't it? Clear the clutter, clear the crap, get rid of the crap, make the space for abundance. So but also environment. I'd love to expand on that conversation a bit more. Our environment, it's so important, isn't it? Where we spend our time, how it makes us feel. That so many of us, we're kind of it surprises me how many people are oblivious to the fact that the environment is either supporting them or really draining them. So let's go straight into that a bit more about why our environment is so important.
So our environment, I think I'll just like rewind like a little bit back, because you touched on like Feng Shui and clutter, but also the way that I like to describe Feng Shui is it's like acupuncture for your home. So when you start working, if you've ever been to an acupuncturist, like they look at you and they can kind of get a gist of what's going on, like kind of like, oh, maybe your eyes are at this or whatever, but they really have to like touch you and check your energy and check that chi. And for us, like as a normal common person, it's like, that's a pulse. Like it's just the same as like, that's just a house. It's like whatever it is, a house, it does its job, it looks nice and I keep it clean. And that sometimes people will say to me like, but my house is really tidy and my house is clean. And I'm like, I don't actually, like, cleanliness is important, but it's not an underlying thing, because when we think about acupuncture, it's really the invisible energy that's running through the body. And that's exactly what is going on when we work with Feng Shui, because it's like, what I like to describe Feng Shui is really like there's the iceberg. And at the very top of the iceberg, there's that whole sense of like decluttering and keeping your toilet seat down. And that's one of the ways of like thinking about the flow of energy flowing in and that it goes down the toilet. Like, so keep your toilet seat down. Simple things that you might have heard, like Some people have, I'm trying to think of other little ones, and I'm like, keep the toilet seat down, keep the toilet seat door down, or keep the toilet door closed. Make sure that your space is clear clutter. And I'm like, oh my God, I have all these little ones, but I'm trying to think, I go blank, and I'm like, no. But really what happens is, like, from the beginning and down, you go a bit further when you dive a little bit deeper. Every part of your home represents a different part of your life. So whatever's going on invisibly or visibly in that part of your home, it's literally having a direct impact on your life. So Feng Shui, and I think that one of the things when I hear people talk about like woo-woo stuff, I'm like, Feng Shui is 5,000 years old. Like, this is nothing new age about it. And it is used by huge companies all over the world, like Whole Foods and Disney and Intel, Hyundai cars, like huge companies use it because they see the importance of having an environment that is, first of all, positive for their employees, but also that it's going to attract good things into their businesses. So when we translate Feng Shui into English, or into what we when it was originally came about, it means good health and good harvest. So if you think about like 5,000 years ago, it was like farmers. People like planted their seeds and they grew their harvest. They made their money. So it's really good health and good wealth, like an abundance. And that's essentially the essence of creating a home that has good Feng Shui. And people often ask me, like, how would you pronounce it and what, and I'm like, it doesn't really matter as long as you really tune into what creating a positive environment for you. So in terms of that whole word environment, I like, most recently, there's this beautiful energy of people who have been really, forging the path of decluttering and minimalism and creating space for your dreams, which is, I'm like, yes, that is so, so, so good. Because if there is negative energy in a specific part of your home, you may find that clutter, like that invisible energy that I talked about, that clutter will keep attracting to that point. Or like, it'll just be like, oh, that keeps coming back here because it's not happy. And it's like, clutter is a very low vibrational energy. So when we work with Feng Shui, what we're doing, it's almost like you work with people about creating their dreams. So I like to think of like people's dreams like a seed. And you think about, this is my seed, this is the dream that I am planting into the soil. But if you decided to like plant that seed out on the concrete road, it's going to have like a hard time, like actually like rooting and growing and sprouting and being in a fertile place. So the opposite is true when you work with a home that's Feng Shui, because it's a fertile environment. Like, that's what we're doing. We're actually planting the seed in this most fertile soil. And it's just so ripe and ready to support you. So when we start working with a home and aligning the energy with you and your vision and your dreams, it actually becomes a co-creator in your dreams. So it becomes this place that it's like, oh, I want to attract my soulmate. And I said, that's like how I got into Feng Shui. Well, I got into Feng Shui when I was like 15. I've been interested in it, and we moved house like a lot of times growing up. And at 15, we just got a house that was supposed to be our forever home. And my mom was like, you can decorate it whatever you want. Like, you're old enough now to decide what you want. And I don't know where I ever found out or heard about Feng Shui, but I asked for books about it for my birthday. And I was like studying it and going, this is amazing. It can help us with money and fame and health and da, da, da. And like, my parents are not into any of this stuff. Now, my mom's house is Feng Shui now, and she does like ring me and like, I think there's something off, like, when you come home, you need to check something, because she'll just like, she can sense it now, which is like amazing. But like back then, like, they didn't have a clue about this, and I was like trying to figure it all out. And then I kind of not necessarily forgot, but I didn't really start using it again until my late 20s, when I wanted to attract my soulmate. And I moved into a new apartment, and I was like, that's it. I'm setting up this space for love. And I did everything to create the space for love, like thinking in pairs. And I'm happy to share if there's people who want to know about like stuff that I did. But I set it all up for love. And like within a few months, I met Ken, my husband. And it was like so crazy, because it gets like, even, when you start in that synchronistic mode of alignment and flow, like that I'm sure you teach, that when you step into that space of flow, like I got to Ken's place and I was like, he has feng shuied this. And I swear to God, like Ken has a book. We actually still have the little book that he had bought in his 20s, that was all about feng shui and working on your environment. Because whatever's going on in your inside world is actually mirrored out in your external environment. So if you have certain like limiting beliefs or whenever, so I suppose I feel like more free to speak about this and to your community and to you, because I think you get it more. But law of attraction, you know, like attracts like. So when you go to try and find an apartment or a home, it's like, it's a match. It's a match. Like whatever your energetic vibration is, you will attract that in terms of a home. And the nice part is like, you know, if you're super high vibe and you're like making loads of money, if you're in an amazing relationship, it's like, it's a match, like, yay. But if you're not, and you haven't worked on those limiting beliefs, or you do start. So what if you at that stage, you started here, you found a house, maybe you whatever was going on in your life. And then you start like, oh, I'm going to work with Melanie and do some beliefs. I'm going to work on my vision board. And your energy starts rising up and you start going, oh my God, life is getting better. But then something keeps happening. And it's like, what the hell? What's going on? Because your house stays here. And it doesn't actually shift energy. And it's a very dense physical environment. And as you start rising, it kind of gets a little bit confusing, like this tug of war. And this is actually exactly what I saw what was going on with my clients. So I worked as a holistic therapist, working with clients, like releasing stress and trauma and anxiety, and did a lot of like kind of just healing on like a Mary Poppins bag of tools. And clients would come to me and they'd be getting on great and like, I feel amazing. And you might have this, Melanie, like your clients are like, they're doing amazing. And then like a few weeks later, they're like, oh, like they're still good, like, but it's still not as bad. And I'm like, what are you talking about? We have cleared so much stuff. Like this doesn't make sense. And then it got to the stage where I was like, tell me about your bedroom. Tell me about your kitchen. And they'd be like, what are you asking me about this for? Like, that hasn't got anything to do with like releasing anger from the 7-year-old self, you know? And I was like, you know, it's like, what's my kitchen got to do with that? And it got this really strange experience, because then I started going, oh my God, their environment. And it was literally, once I just decided I'm going to dive more into this and take this on as part of my practice, walking into their homes, I was like, oh, this is why. Because they literally were doing all this amazing inner work, like getting up, doing meditations, mantras, doing the chanting, cooking the healthiest foods. And I was like, I don't know. Like, I literally was like, I don't know. And then I walk into their houses and I'm like, this is it. Like, this is it. Because they were letting go on an energetic field, but on a physical field, in the physical world, in their houses, they hadn't let their houses full of clutter, the energy, they were bad for people houses, or they were bad for money. And it was literally the writing was on the walls. So I was walking around going, this is why. And that was that synergy for me when we partnered the two of those up. That kind of went, whoa, amazing. So yeah, that's how kind of, I love explaining it, even though I went on a total rant.
So would you say that there is something that can be done for every single environment, and it's not necessarily a case of you've got to up sticks and move?
Yeah. I've actually never told anyone that they need to move, and neither did my teacher ever. So, because like we were like, we never have to tell anyone to move. And I think that one of the other parts is like, it's an awareness thing. Like, some people think that feng shui is like moving furniture. Or, you know, I was referenced in an article for Forbes recently. And the other feng shui consultant said something about like, well, if the bathroom is facing the front door, that's bad. And, you know, that's okay for her to say. If I'm working with, if she was writing it for just like people who are about to design a new house, and we can gonna go, oh, this is a piece of paper, we can just move the bathroom over here. For me, I'm like, let's just get as practical as possible. There's no way I'll ever tell anyone to move a bathroom, to knock a wall. We just work what we've got. Like, and I think that sometimes it can be, we can hear these things like, is it bad to have my front door to be red? Or if my toilet is here, what about my kitchen? And all that stuff. It drives me crazy. And like, the thing is, like, the other difficult part is that it can feel like, oh, my house is bad feng shui. That's it. Like, that's it. And honestly, it's not the case at all. Every single thing you can fix and improve. Like, And it's an awareness thing, because once you know, you're like, oh, this is how you fix it. And that's how I work with clients, is really just like, this is what's going on. And this is how you fix it. And it's all about like fixing it, as opposed to like, I'm not gonna be like, give you the bad news, you gotta move. Or paint their whole house white, or put like weird frogs in corners. Like that kind of thing for me is like, oh my God, like I don't want your house to look any different. If you love your house, like I want you to love it even more. I want you to feel good. And that's the difference, is like that energy. You come in and you're like, oh God, this is great. And everyone is like, your house is so welcoming and ease and flow in my life. Like that's what it's all about.
That's fabulous. No, that's really good to hear that that we don't have to make these big drastic changes. Now, what about kind of just things like, could we just talk maybe like just some basic things? Actually, things that just come to mind for me is I actually want to kind of think about redecorating soon, and my daughter wants to decorate her bedroom. Are there any do's and don'ts when it comes to colors? Because what I've seen in the past, sometimes they say you really should have this color. I don't like that color.
You know what? Your bedroom is something that I love talking about. It's like one of my favorite places to talk about when it comes to Feng Shui. Because your bedroom should be a sanctuary. Okay, that is like literally the words that you need to be connecting with bedroom, sanctuary. And when you think of sanctuary, then there's 3 words: rest, romance, and relaxation. That is it. So if you walk into your bedroom and you doesn't resonate with rest, romance, relaxation, something needs to shift in it. So redecorating from that place and going, what's going to make this feel like a sanctuary to me? So like that, in terms of bedrooms, I'm not a big fan of like bright primary colors, because that's like, say for example, and Feng Shui is connected with the 5 elements, so fire, water, metal, earth, and how they affect our energies, but also in each area. So for example, having a bright pink wall like this is like, that would be just a lot of energy. So I moved into that bedroom when I was manifesting Ken, and the bedroom I moved into was literally this color, like the entire bedroom. And I moved in, I'm like, this is too much pink. Like this is way too much of it. And I love this color, so it was even difficult for me to kind of go, oh. And I painted a lot. I just like kept one pink wall, but that also is because it's a good color for me energetically. But in terms of like primary colors like red, it's too much fire. Like it can cause like anxiety and stress and all of that. So you want to think of like neutral tones that feed you, that feel good to you and nurture you. In terms of like bedroom setup, it's important that you have a good headboard. And that might feel like, oh, but a nice wooden or fabric headboard, that gives you support. So there's a lot of symbolism and a lot of like things that kind of make sense. You're like, oh, a headboard would give me support. You know, like having a good office chair will give you support and make you feel in your power and make you feel like the boss of your business. So, you know, for me, we're in a small apartment here in Slovenia just for like 2 months. So when we were in Bali, I had like a proper office chair, a proper back behind me, and I'd all set up, but we're only temporary here. But most of the time, I'd be like a strong wall behind you, you know, and that's the same with the bedroom, having a nice wall behind you. If you can see the door, that would be amazing. If you can't, you just can put a tiny, small little mirror at the end of the bed. So when you're lying in bed, you can see the door, and you've just got this sense of being able to see what's coming at you. Because if you can't see what's coming at you, you're kind of a little bit like, that won't make your sleep as easy or as comfortable, because you're like a little bit like, oh, something could come here and I can't see what's coming. So it's about support. And then in your bedroom, it also is around that word romance. So if you're single and you want to attract love into your bedroom, you need to get an image of something that resonates with you in terms of relationships. So not like one heart on its own, because that's like a very lonely heart on its own, but maybe like a pair of hearts, or a picture with like 2 lovebirds, or an image of a couple. Like I had like one client, and it's so interesting because she got this canvas made, and I'm telling you, it was like humongous. Like I was like, this is like the biggest guy, but it's a couple embracing, and it actually, the girl in the image looked like her, and she totally met her husband, and his hair is the same as the guy in the picture. I was like, this is uncanny. Like this is mad. Because it's like a vision board, yeah, but it was like, this is in her bedroom, like everything she saw. Every morning she woke up, she saw it. Every night she went to sleep, she saw it. Now, believe it or not, like this is interesting. So that picture then passed on to another lady, And I was chatting with her and I was like, so you have the big picture. I'm like, does that resonate with you for what you want to the relationship? Because, I knew her and I was like, I had this feeling. She's like, no, it actually isn't. And I'm like, well, then I said, there's a really positive energy because obviously someone is attracted to their soulmate, like using this picture, like that's very positive vibe. But if it's not going to be like, that's what I want, like that's what I want in a relationship at the end of your bed, like that you don't want to have that. Like it needs to be something that you're like, that's it. So super important around imagery in your bedroom as well. And then the images not to have. So you said that you have a daughter, like no pictures of your children in your bedroom or your mother or your auntie or your granny or your friends or anyone.
Why?
Because it's a room for romance and you don't want anyone watching with you while you're in bed. You love her.
I have a picture of my dead grandmother in my bedroom, so maybe I might move her somewhere else.
Yes, there is definitely a better home for her. And actually, like it can be like, oh wow, and just it's like these little things because you're like, oh okay, because that picture has like energy, and you want to just be really mindful of the things that you have in the bedroom. Rest, romance, relaxation. So like no exercise equipment, nothing under your bed, no work stuff. Like the amount of people I see who have like their work stuff like up beside their bed, and I'm like, how do you sleep? Do you even switch off? Can you switch off? And if you do have work stuff in your room, there's another part of like, do people message you at all hours? Do you get like messages from people at crazy o'clock expecting responses? And you can't switch off because you are not. There's no clear boundaries. So creating a bedroom and boundaries in all parts of your home is really important.
So I'm guessing no phones in the room either.
I'm not a fan of phones in the room. I think that that's a really beautiful practice. Like it's something that I've been practicing a lot lately, like because we're in a small place. So I literally leave the phone in the drawer, like as far away from the bedroom as possible. So I get up and go out for a walk in the morning. I come back and I have my breakfast and then I'm like, okay, go to the phone now. And it's really just that giving yourself that little distance from it because, it's important. First of all, in terms of like EMFs, it's not a positive thing to have beside you. But if you're working on your phone all the time, that is your work and it's there buzzing beside your head. Like it's not good for like just boundaries and just work and that sense of like disconnect and being able to relax, like peaceful night's sleep.
Okay. So in a minute, Patricia, I'm going to ask you about the topic that I would say is number one for most people is how to attract abundance into your home. Before we go into that, I want to talk about your book.
Oh yeah. I forgot. I'm like, oh my God, I have a book.
And it's just launched, hasn't it?
Yeah. So it's on pre-order. It'll be out officially on Saturday, but you can still pre-order it now. It's called The Happy Home, a guide to creating a happy, healthy, wealthy life. And essentially, it's just like I was talking about the iceberg. It's like everything that I can tell you about Feng Shui to the point of like, you need to hire me then. Like, it's like everything I can teach you to the point that like, that I can share without seeing your house and literally taking that energetic check of like, this is exactly what's going on. But it's a really, really, pardon?
Well, what topics do you cover? Give us.
Yeah, so how it works is actually at the very beginning, we talk about connecting with the energy of your home. And this is not essentially Feng Shui. It's like something that came as I was working with clients to really do an analysis of like what your current relationship is and start to make your home your best friend. And then I have lots of different areas. We have a whole section about like decluttering and systems and tools and tricks that I use and that my clients have found really effective. And then we move into that a process of like really clearing the actual physical energy of the place and clearing it. Like, and I've got some really nice meditations as well that you can download as bonuses that will give you just another connection. Like, because as I said, your house is like a person. And when you start to really treat it like a person, it can start to really reciprocate and become your friend and that co-creator. And then we move through each of the areas of your home. So like, your bedroom, your bathroom, your kitchen, like best practices for every single part of your house. So just like I talked about the bedroom, it's like everything you think about bedrooms, everything for children's bedrooms, kitchens, living rooms, dining rooms, all that. Just like little nuggets, like little golden nuggets and things that you can think about and be like, oh, okay, I never do that. And then we continue down through it and I go through every area. So like a house, like a body, every part of your home, as I said, has a different function. So our heart has a job and our lungs have a job. there's a different part of your home that is going to be looking after the fame and reputation area. There's a part of your home that's looking after your wealth and prosperity, which I'll talk about. There's your family area, your career area, the community area, your travel area. So all of these different parts, either the energy is flowing for you or against you. And I talk about little subtle adjustments you can make to that, and how to map out your house and find the area and things you can do to just enhance it and tweak it.
I love it. Well, I've ordered my copy and I can't.
Yay!
I would have loved to have read it before this interview, but
it's all good. You can bring me back and ask me more questions and be like, actually, you didn't answer this in the book, and I'll be like, oh no, I missed that bit.
It's a topic that's always fascinated me, and I've always tried to kind of adopt my limited knowledge, again, toilet seats and what's the other thing I said? Yeah, clutter and all that, and that basic stuff. But yeah, I really feel like with anything in our lives, things come along at the right time, that actually this is the time in my life to go deeper on a subject. So I'm so excited the book has come along when it has. Just really the ideal time for me, because I'm making some kind of transitionary changes myself with the name, and chopped my hair off last week, and I think actually now it's time to look at the house as well, because it's been a while since I've redecorated, and it's time since I've moved things around. So yeah, it's definitely I can't wait to.
The universe is like, and your house is going, it's time.
I actually feel that, and things, because my mum's from Thailand, so I've grown up with a lot of kind of the Eastern things around the house as well. But what I find there is there's quite a lot of superstition based. Like my mum would say, you must never have your feet pointing out of the window, with your bed. It'd be literally because of, or you will die.
And it can get like super drastic. Like, honestly, I've heard people say this to me, and I'm like, if you sit in this direction, and I'm just like, oh man, like seriously, we have to get to the practical of this, because it's like, no, that's not going to happen. Like, be mindful of your environment, get yourself a nice strong chair. Like, if you sit, it can just be a little bit too much. And that's where I think it can be a little bit scary for people. And that's why I call the book The Happy Home. I'm like, ultimately, everyone just wants a happy home. If you have a happy home, it's like happy people, happy children, happy families. Like, it's a ripple effect.
You've actually just reminded me that I did have a Feng Shui book many years ago. I can't remember the author's name, but I read some of it. And I must admit, I read a few pages and then I got scared. And then I thought, oh my gosh, I don't want to read the rest of this book, because it suddenly brought fear into me. And I'm so against anything that brings fear into your life. I really, as soon as kind of religion or practices talk about fear, I'm like, I'm out of there. I don't want to know anything about that. What can we do to support us instead, not like scare the daylights out of you? So I actually remember closing that book and being too scared to read any further.
Oh, that's so interesting. And it's so, like, I just think about, my clients often ask me, like, why do I have to put this remedy in? And I'm like, because energy isn't very good. Because I could tell them like the horror stories of like what, if this is left undone, like it would not be pretty. And I've had clients come to me and going, oh, everything's falling apart. Oh. And I'm like, yeah, okay, well, this is why. But I'm not going to go in. I'm just like, I'm not going to say, oh, give them I'm like, this is how you fix that energy. It's just not happy at the moment. And like, fix it, it'll be all good. And then that's the flow. Whereas like, yeah, it can be a little bit like heavy and deep, and that's okay. But for me, I'm like, let's just focus on making it better, like not focusing on the negative, but on the positive of like, this is all fixable, and there's a remedy for something that will make it better and bring more flow and ease. And that's where we want to focus our attention.
I love it. So I've just shared a link there, which is scrolling across the bottom of the screen. So patricialohan.com/book. So that will take you to the link and you can buy the book and you'll get it this weekend.
Yay! Yeah, for sure. Oh, I know. Amazing. Can't wait. So excited.
So exciting. So I want to end with with just what I said just now. I think it's probably the most, I don't know, is it the most common question for you? I think it usually when we talk about big visions and we talk about the biggest transformations people want to make in their life, usually falls into three categories. It's kind of like your relationships, your abundance levels, and your career. I find they're the top three for my clients. Would you say they're the top three for you as well?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And we've like a really broad spectrum of clients, but there's four different types of houses, and they can be either, well, there's two money types. They can be good for money or bad for money. And that can either explain what's going on, but that's something that I have to see their information of their house to be like, this is what it is and this is how you fix it specifically. But in terms of prosperity in your home, there are some key things that you need to do and make sure that are flowing right. So first of all, you need to be able to get in your front door easily. And I know that might sound like
lock is jamming at the moment.
There you go. And that's why I've started. I always start at the front door, because the front door is the mouth of your house. It's where the energy comes in.
You've got to wiggle it and jiggle it, and it's stiff, and then you're in. So that's literally just starting in a few weeks.
So that can reflect like a struggle and a little bit of like a resistance, and so there could be just a little bit feeling like what things are not flowing as they usually do. So it's like allowing the energy in. So I like to see like chi or energy is really money, good things, like flow, abundance. Like that's what it is. Like it's not anything invisible. It's actually just the things happening and flowing in. So start at your front door, make sure it's easy to open. And when you come in, make sure what you see is like abundant, feels good, like that your heart rises when you walk in and you're like, I'm so happy to be home. Like, yay.
We see about 20 pairs of shoes. We see football boots, ballet shoes, dance shoes, wellies, boots, more boots, probably a few sandals from the summer. So, right.
So I would definitely recommend putting them into some like containers or something, or into some kind of like, so that when you come in, because literally if you see shoes at your front door, it means that it's very hard for people to settle, and they're always like on the go. So it must be like a kind of busy, it's like busy. Because like literally the first thing you say, it's like you see shoes, it's like, okay, time to go. It's like they're leaving before you're coming in. So that would be just like a total side note. It's not really a prosperity thing, but it's really about allowing people to ground in and stay in the house. Then the next thing would be to look at the southeast area of your home. So like I talked about, with every part of your home, it represents a different part of your life.
So would you say southeast, is that from looking at the front of your house, or would you say literally from where the sun rises and sunsets?
So the southeast is actually going to be in the same place. So if you if you have like an iPhone, you can take, there's actually a compass on an iPhone, and you can literally hold it still somewhere in your house and you'll see where it's southeast. So it'll be south, north, south, and then wherever southeast is, you'll like go, oh, over there. So it could be the room. You can use like, you could do mini feng shui, like the southeast part of your office, or the southeast part of your bedroom, or the southeast part of your living room, or you would look at the general house. And be like, oh, over there in that corner is the southeast area. So I'll give you an example, because some people are like, oh my God, my southeast area is my bathroom or my toilet. And I remember working with a client, and she was like, my southeast area is my toilet. And I was like, okay, well, first of all, put in the remedies I recommend. Second of all, make that area feel abundant and rich and luxury. So it was like, really, she was like, what can I do? So she brought flowers. She got really nice soaps and put them in that area. She was like, okay, actually my towels are a bit crap. I'm going to like upgrade them, and started to make that place feel really abundant. So she was unemployed at the time and was like manifesting a new job, and she pimped that all up. And every time she went to it, she's like, I feel abundant. I'm so happy for my new job. And like got a job within a few weeks. She was like, oh my God, I got a job. Like, you know, but it was that sense of, and every time she went to the toilet, she's like, oh my God, this is like a hotel, luxury hotel toilet, you know. And it's really that energy that shifted her mindset around like, oh my God, my prosperity is in the toilet, all my money is going down the loo. And that's not like that. It's more like looking at that area and seeing what is in it. Now, you know, for example, if it's your kitchen and you have your bin there, that's okay if it's the only place the bin can be. But like empty it regularly, you know, don't let it like pile up, and you know, it's like, okay, that's, or is there somewhere else you could do it?
Like a nice little smeg bin. Smeg?
Yeah, exactly. Get yourself a smaller bin and then have a real flash one, you know. So that's like some of the things. And also another thing that's really nice to do in your home in terms of prosperity is, we did talk about this several times, keep the toilet seat down, keep the toilet door closed. But creating like a little, like just a little prosperity altar. And you don't need to like, it doesn't need to feel like, even be like altar. I think altar can be kind of scary for some people, but just a little place that's like, that feels like abundant, you know. So whether it's like a check for the universe, from the universe, like in that area, like putting something like that, or writing an affirmation about abundance, or putting something in that area that feels abundant for you. So whether it's like, you're just like, I'm going to get fresh flowers myself and put them in this area because it's a suitable area for it. Like, so if it doesn't work, if it's like a utility room, you don't have to do that. Like, but just think about like, what could you do in that space just to enhance it a little bit.
Oh, amazing. I love it. And they're practical tips, but they also make your environment more pleasant to be in as well. And ultimately, this is the number one thing I shout about from the roofs. The most important thing is that you feel good. And sometimes very subtle shifts in your home can make you feel good. We all know how good it feels that when you've decluttered and the space and the freshness of that just makes you feel just add extra touches is just going to add another level on that. So
for sure.
Perfect sense. Absolutely perfect sense. I'm literally itching to get my hands.
I'm so excited. And it's so interesting because it's like every little thing, you know, it's so interesting because like every little shift is going to make a difference. Like even if you can't see it, it's making a difference on your energy, the house's energy. And, you know, we talked about just in general, like the bedroom with the picture for love. But like looking at your art, I see you've loads of different artwork on your walls. Like that would be my next thing, because I know you talk about vision boards, and I love vision boards. Like I'm just obsessed with them. And I feng shui my vision boards, but I just love it. And the thing is, when you when you actually look at, say, the artwork, like make your home like a vision board for what you're creating. And that is like a real like shift of like looking around your house. I mean, like, does this represent where I'm going, what I'm creating, what I want in my life? Because if it doesn't, then it's not serving you, and it's actually like kind of pulling you back or subconsciously affecting you. So it's important to be really mindful of like what's in your house and the artwork for sure. It's just so profound. I talked about the couple manifesting, but we have a crazy one. We moved in, we redecorated our bedroom to create that sanctuary. And at the end of our bed, there was a gap, and it happened to be our love and marriage area. So I left it blank to find a picture. And one day, like a few months later, I walked into the shop and saw this painting. I was like, that's exactly it. Like it's a couple together and he's holding an umbrella. It's kind of one of those cityscape ones. And I was like, that looks like our first date. And I'm like, that's perfect. Like, it's just so good. So I brought the picture home, hung it up on the wall, didn't think about it at all. And about 6 weeks later, my friend came to visit, and I was giving her the tour of my redecorated bedroom, and I was like, oh, my bedroom. And then she's like looking at the bedroom, and she's looking at the picture. She's like, oh my God, this picture is gorgeous. And then she's like, and there's Marley. And like the woman in the picture had a little dog on the lead. And within the 6 weeks of me hanging the picture and her coming to visit, I had adopted a dog. I had like no intent, and it was just like really crazy. Like, I need a dog. Like, the neighbor found this dog. We happened to be visiting. We never visit them, and they were like, "Oh, this dog sent the picture," and I was like, "Ken, I have to go get the dog." So the dog, the picture was the same dog, like same little curly tail, black fluffy little terrier. It was the same, and I was like, "Oh my God, the picture, the dog, Marley is the picture." And like, I'm like weeping go to sleep every night seeing a picture of a couple and the woman with the little dog, identical dog.
I love it.
So if anything, like your artwork really matters.
Yeah, so true, definitely. Yeah. So there's been a few questions here, a few comments. Yes. Lynn Bailey has put, I'll put some of the comments up on the screen. Lynn said here, that's another little plug for you, which is, how do I show this? I'm trying to see how I can. Oh, yeah. You learn all this great stuff in the Feng Shui Mastery course Patricia runs. There you go.
Oh, thanks, Lynn.
Becky has put, you two lovely people. And Lisa said she Feng Shui's her vision boards too.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, so good.
And Johnny's asked here, what about your business, like a brick and mortar store? Do you cover anything like that in your book? Are the principles the same?
The principles are actually really similar. I don't actually cover business in my book because it's Happy Home, but it's exactly the same principles. And actually, most recently, I've been doing lots of research. There's a lot of companies that actually work with Feng Shui. I talked about Whole Foods and Disney and all these. it's very similar principles. So the prosperity area in your business would be exactly the same. And it's a huge factor. Like I've done many companies, and we've looked at their businesses, looked at where the owner sits in their office, the positioning, also in terms of like the energy, because it could be just a not a very good place for prosperity or abundance. So there's same principles. Prosperity is in the same area. Make sure you have a good sign outside your house or outside your office so people can see you, how they can find you, and keeping it really clear, clutter and like vision, the images the same as same principles, just copy them over to business.
So Johnny's put here, your next book is The Happy Business.
The Happy Business. I know. I actually have, like, I teach Feng Shui Mastery and we cover home, and then I do a full course on business for people as well. So a lot of my clients are in work, we work on their homes, and then they want to do, or they work from home. So we do a whole module about business and doing it for your business as well.
Amazing. So I had a question and it's just go on. Hopefully it's going to come back before this ends. But I've just loved every part of this conversation. It's been, that's what it was. Did you use Feng Shui at all to help you bring your book to life?
Oh my God, totally. Like, so I have had like on my Feng Shui vision board, on my Feng Shui vision board, on my Feng Shui vision board, I have like literally had like, I'm a published author, like on it for so long. Pictures of publishing.
That's my one.
Oh my God, I love it. Yes.
That's the outfit I'm wearing to my book launch party on it.
Oh, I love that. That is so good. Yes, so I have like, I'm a bestseller, all of that on my vision board in terms of, and then I also have affirmations in my fame and reputation area. And I called in helpful people to help me. So I energized my helpful people area to help me with the book. So it was very seamless and easy. But to bring the book into fruition, definitely my helpful people and travel area, because my book was very easy to put together. I had a lot of the information. So it was just like, it was like definitely a very seamless process. And literally from the start to finish, it was like, oh, this is all happened. Like I was telling you, it was very easy to get it. Like the publisher, all that stuff started to flowed really easily. It was like, yay, this is great. For sure.
So good. So there we go. The link, I'll put it up one more time where you can get hold of Patricia's book, patricialohan.com/book, and you will have it in your hands this weekend. So so thank you.
Excited. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful for this opportunity to talk to your people and to talk to you, because I just feel like we've kind of been floating past each other and around each other for a long time.
Patricia.
Yes.
Yeah. So hopefully this won't be the last time we talk, and I'm sure we will again. So enjoy. So you're skiing at the moment, aren't you, in Slovenia?
Yeah, so Friday and Saturday, or Saturday and Sunday we'll be skiing. We'll kind of work through the week, and then we'll be skiing for the weekends. And then we're in Ireland for Christmas. And back then I'll be skiing every day when I get to in January. Every day. I'm going to make a record skiing.
Exciting. Oh, how fabulous. Well, good luck with everything. I wish you enormous success with it. And of course it's going to reach bestseller status. And everyone watching, if what we've talked about has sparked your interest, go and get the book. And go and overhaul your homes. I'd love to hear how you get on. I'm sure Patricia would love to hear.
Sure, I'd love it as
well.
Yes.
And
thank you so much. Yes, thanks a million.
Take care. Thank you so much. Okay, so there we go. That was Patricia, and thank you for joining me for another episode of Big Vision TV. And next week is going to be the last one before I have a couple of weeks break for the holidays. And so thank you so much for joining me, and go and buy Patricia's book. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.